Hello, Utah fans and film fanatics. It's Elijah coming at you from the last day of the Utah International Film Festival. We're continuing our series of interviewing Utah filmmakers or just filmmakers who are a part of the Utah International Film Festival. And today I have joining me Claire Timothy, who was producer on Life After. Claire, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So this, of course, has a very I think important topic, and please tell us about the story.
Yeah. So me and the director, Jen Clark Ludlow, we were able to come up with this idea because her husband was really interested in amputees with his job. He's in engineering. He works on helping develop new ways to assist amputees with prosthetics and things. And Jen just got really interested in learning more about the amputees themselves. And so we were able to find 3 different people to talk to and make our film about and just show people that amputees are just like anyone else. And we definitely just wanted to normalize their stories and show that amputees they're not special. They're like everybody else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful to really focus on the human element, the common human element. I think that folks can sometimes get hung up on, and so the story of prosthesis is actually something really cool. I've worked in the life sciences industry myself, and the technology that's coming for that, I think, as well, is really fascinating.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about that. I think return to function, but also just to that point, I think focusing again on the human element. I love that. So it's very slice of life, you were saying, right?
Yes, we wanted to highlight how important it is to show everyday stories. One of our participants, John, before he had his amputation, he just knew about people that were amputees that were like doing things that are above and beyond, like soldiers and people who like participate in marathons after, all these kind of things. And specific movies always focus on like what can they do and how far can they push their boundaries. And he never related to that. He just didn't know what his everyday life was going to look like anymore. So we wanted to show people that it's still really just like anyone else, and
Right.
it's not anything too crazy. So yeah.
I love that. That is so cool. Because yeah, I would wager it takes a particular strength of will. But you're right. I mean, there's certainly inspiration to draw from stories of folks, pushing. Amy Purdy is someone who I follow online, who is a double amputee, and she's phenomenal. She's done things like Dancing with the Stars, but something that I like is that she's also highlighting just her everyday life, right? And so I think, again, that's just being missed so much because there is that sensationalism of, hey, like, look at all these, and it's wonderful stories, but you're right. I mean, people just want to live their life, right? And so to spotlight that is so inspiring. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So with regard to the actual filmmaking process, what was pre-production like?
Let's see. So Jenna reached out to a lot of prosthetists across Utah County, and we were able to meet a lot of great people through that. And that's how we found 2 of our participants. And then Sarah Fry was mentioned to us as someone who might be interesting to include because she suffered a double amputation as well in an accident when she was 20, I think, 19 or 20. So, and she has a pretty big social media presence. A lot of people I knew kept bringing her up when I was pitching the idea to them. So I thought it would be cool to reach out to her, and she was all for coming on. And it was really special that we got to have a good age diversity with her. And then Jenna and John are in their 60s. So I think it just rounded out the stories we wanted to tell and help everyone kind of feel seen. And yeah, we got our crew together. We did this through BYU, so it was a student project. It was the first thing I produced, and
Awesome.
it was really
First of many, I'm sure.
yes, hopefully. But it was a really special time to like gather everyone together and build a team that really cared about what we wanted to talk and share with other people. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
So cool.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the actual filming itself, were you going to their homes? Were you having them come to you? What was that like?
Yeah, we traveled to them. We braved a lot of snowstorms. We had to go up to Utah State one of the days because that's where Sarah goes to school, and that was crazy. But we always made it work. We also shot in Park City to film John skiing, which was so fun.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The National Ability Center is a really great foundation, and they allowed us to come film John on bikes with some of their trainers and then skiing as well, which was really, really special. That was a challenge to film, but we got a lot of cool people who could ski and shoot at the same time, and it worked out perfectly, I think. Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. I couldn't see myself on skis well, let alone skis with a camera.
I know. I was glad that I was producer that day. I'm just like, okay, let me know if you have issues, but I'm gonna stay at the lodge.
Absolutely. Hot Coco's calling my name. Awesome. And then for the actual post-production, well, first let me ask, is there anything that you want to highlight in terms of a funny story or anything like during the filming?
Let's see. Yeah, the best day I think was a skiing day.
Yeah.
It was a day we were all scared to do from the beginning of the shoot, and once we finally got into it, it was really nice to see how everyone like came together and just did their best to get it all captured on film. We also shot on 16 millimeter, a lot of it, which was pricey, but I think it was worth it. I love physical media, and our DP, McKenna, was just so good at capturing those moments. And even in the snow, it's crazy that she had their camera out there, but it all went well. So
love it.
Yeah, I'm really glad we shot on film as well, because it just gives a really special touch.
I totally agree. I love when things are shot on film. I also think, like, thinking about this, where it's capturing reality, to have that on film, also says something,
Exactly.
right? So,
yeah,
love that. And then with regard to post-production, what was the, editing or the rest of the post-production like?
So Jared Donaldson was our main editor, and he just knocked it out of the park. We were going to have it in just 3 sections and tell each of their stories. And the test screening with that didn't go the way we were hoping. We got a lot of feedback that it would be more engaging if we broke it up, and he just had to re-edit basically the whole thing. And we just had so much footage. We had hours and hours. We shot a lot, and he just took it in stride, and it is so much better now than it was before. It was the best thing we could have done. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and we all had our different challenges, and working with 16 millimeters tricky. Some of the footage came back a little it had some issues, so but Jared worked his magic and did his best to use what we could, and I think it turned out great. So
that is so cool. Yeah, man. Again, it's just, I don't think I'll ever stop being fascinated by the filmmaking process and the different stories. So yeah, thank you so much, of course, for being a part of the film community. On the topic of community, what would you say are your goals from having it as a part of the Utah International Film Festival?
Yeah, well, I came to the screening and I saw the other documentaries along with it, and I thought it was really cool to have it exposed to the audience that might have come for something else. Like, I just think it's really important for people to see amputees as everyday people. And before I made this documentary, I really wasn't familiar with that world, and being able to share that with others and just help other amputees be seen, other people who have disabilities, I think it's really important. And our goal with this film was to just share that with as many people as we could. And now that it's getting outside of the BYU community and into this festival, I am so grateful that we can just get it to as many eyes as we can. So
Absolutely. And we're very happy, of course, to have you as a part, especially this story, as a part of the festival. I got to say, hearing all of this, I think that also something, and I'm sure this was probably the goal, and let me know if I'm misunderstanding, but what I really am enjoying about hearing about this is that I think it is probably inspiring folks who did have an amputation to say, hey, you don't have to be, right?
Mhm.
This like, triathlon, athlete or anything. It's like, yeah, there's no shame in being a human person living your everyday life. And that's really beautiful.
Yeah, that was exactly our goal. And I think all three of our participants were able to tell that story in their own unique ways. And I'm just really grateful for their participation because we never could have made it without them. So,
Yeah, it's so cool. I love hearing about all the magic that comes together there. Just like how the people and everything come together.
I know they're so special. They're so giving of their time and their stories, being vulnerable. So I always appreciate that.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Are there any other topics or anything else you'd like to share with the folks tuning in?
I just wanted to say again how grateful I am for the director, Jana. She did a great job bringing the story to life, and I'm glad I got to help her out with it. But if the conditions were ideal, she'd be here today. But she lives across the country now, which is so cool. But it's really her story, and I was just glad to be a part of it. So she deserves all the praise, and I'm just proud of her.
Awesome. Well, don't sell yourself short either, because it sounds like you contributed a lot and you are responsible for bringing this story to.
Yes. Jana, of course. Yes. Thank you, Will.
Of course. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. And so everyone at home, again, thank you so much, or on your phones, wherever you may be. And until the next one, stay tuned.